Jubilations hits Igboland as Tinubu government finally agrees to free Nnamdi Kanu. Before we give you the full story, kindly tell us where you are watching from and drop your comment below. The entire southeastern region of Nigeria erupted in scenes of unprecedented celebration as news broke that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration had finally yielded to mounting international and domestic pressure to release Nnamdi Kanu from detention. What had seemed impossible for years suddenly became reality, sending shockwaves of joy across Igboland and beyond. Streets that had known tension and sorrow for so long were now filled with dancing, singing, and tears of happiness as millions celebrated what many were calling a divine intervention and a victory for justice. The announcement came after intense diplomatic pressure from world leaders, particularly following stern warnings from United States President Donald Trump and Kenyan President William Ruto. Both leaders had issued a joint statement that reverberated around the globe, demanding the immediate release of the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra within 24 hours or face severe international consequences. Their intervention transformed what had been a prolonged domestic crisis into a matter of urgent global concern, forcing the Tinubu administration to reconsider its position on a case that had divided the nation and attracted worldwide attention. For over 2 years, Nnamdi Kanu had been held in the custody of the Department of State Services following his controversial detention after being allegedly extraordinary rendition from Kenya. During this period, reports of deteriorating health conditions, restricted access to family and legal counsel, and concerns about fair treatment had sparked outrage among his supporters and human rights organizations worldwide. Protests, prayer vigils, and international advocacy campaigns had become regular features of life in the Southeast, yet the government had remained unmoved, maintaining that legal processes must take their course regardless of external pressure. Everything changed when Trump and Ruto stepped into the arena with unprecedented force. Speaking from Washington with the commanding presence that defined his political career, Trump made it unequivocally clear that the continued detention of Nnamdi Kanu represented a gross miscarriage of justice that the international community could no longer tolerate. He warned that if anything tragic befell the detained leader while in custody, Nigeria would face a storm of consequences unlike anything it had experienced in its history. His statement was not delivered as a diplomatic suggestion, but as a firm ultimatum backed by the weight of American influence in global affairs. From Nairobi, President William Ruto added his powerful voice to the demand for immediate release. As a respected African leader with growing continental influence, Ruto's intervention carried special significance. He spoke passionately about the need for African nations to uphold justice and human rights, declaring that the continued imprisonment of a man whose only crime appeared to be advocating for his people's rights was an affront to the values that modern Africa should represent. He called on the Tinubu government to demonstrate leadership by choosing the path of peace over continued confrontation, urging that Nnamdi Kanu be freed without further delay so that healing and reconciliation could begin. The impact of these statements was immediate and seismic.